What if I told you that the toxic people in your life are not actually your biggest problem? What if the real problem is something far closer, something living inside you, inside your reactions, inside your silence that you never learned to use? Right now, somewhere in your life, there is a person who drains you, who disturbs your peace, who makes you feel small every single time you are near them. And you have tried everything. You have argued, you have explained yourself, you have cried, you have begged, you have avoided, but nothing worked. They keep coming back, they keep bothering you, they keep stealing your peace. But what if there was one single thing, not a trick, not a manipulation, but one deep, ancient, powerful practice that once you do it, just once, completely and honestly, toxic people will never have power over you again. Not because they will change, but because you will change. And when you change on the inside, everything on the outside shifts. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because what I am about to share with you will not just protect you from toxic people, it will completely transform the way you see yourself, your boundaries, and your life forever. What if the toxic people in your life were never actually the real problem? Sit with that question for a moment. Do not rush past it. Let it land inside you like a stone dropping into still water, because most people spend their entire lives blaming the toxic person, analyzing the toxic person, crying because of the toxic person, cutting off the toxic person, and then finding another toxic person in a different face, a different name, but the exact same energy. And they ask themselves, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I always attract these kinds of people? The answer is not comfortable, the answer is not easy, but the answer is the only thing that will truly set you free. The answer is this: the reason toxic people keep finding you, keep affecting you, keep returning to you, is because something inside you has not yet been addressed. Something inside you is still open, still reactive, still unguarded. And until you close that door from the inside, no amount of blocking, no amount of running, no amount of explaining yourself will ever give you the lasting peace you are searching for. Let me explain what I mean. When we talk about toxic people, we imagine someone outside of us, someone who lies, manipulates, criticizes, drains our energy, and refuses to respect our boundaries. And yes, such people exist. They are real. Their behavior is real. The pain they cause is real. I'm not asking you to deny that reality, but I want you to understand something profound. A toxic person only has as much power over you as the amount of unresolved emotion you are carrying inside yourself. Think of it like this. Imagine your inner world as a calm, deep lake. If someone throws a stone into that lake, a rude comment, a manipulation, a betrayal, what happens? The stone enters, ripples spread, the water moves. But if that lake is deep enough, still enough, and settled enough, the ripples fade. The water returns to its natural state. The stone sinks to the bottom, where it can no longer disturb the surface. But if that lake is already disturbed, if there is already a storm happening inside, then even the smallest stone creates chaos. Even the smallest provocation destroys your entire peace. This is the truth about toxic people and why they bother you so deeply. It is not just their behavior. It is the storm they find already waiting inside you. So what is the one thing you must do? What is this practice that, once done completely and honestly, will change everything? It is this: you must face yourself, completely, honestly, without running, without distraction, without the comfort of blaming someone else. You must sit down with yourself, perhaps for the first time in a very long time, and ask the hardest questions a human being can ask. Why does this person's opinion of me matter so much? Why do I feel responsible for someone else's emotional state? Why do I feel guilty when I say no? Why do I keep choosing to explain myself to people who have already decided not to understand me? Why am I still waiting for an apology from someone who feels no need to give one? These questions will be uncomfortable. They will shake you. They may even bring tears. But this discomfort, this is where your freedom lives. Because on the other side of these questions, you will find something extraordinary. You will find that your need for their approval was the chain. Your fear of their anger was the chain. Your belief that you needed to fix their behavior in order to feel at peace, that was the chain. And when you face these things honestly, when you look at them clearly without judgment and without shame, the chain begins to break. Now I want to speak about something that many people misunderstand deeply, and that is the concept of silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not giving up. Silence is not allowing someone to mistreat you. True silence, the kind that comes from a person who has mastered their inner world, is one of the most powerful forces in existence. When a toxic person attacks you with words, with manipulation, with provocations, they are fishing. They throw out a hook and they are waiting, desperately waiting for you to bite. And the moment you react, the moment you argue back, the moment you cry, the moment you defend yourself in panic, they have you. They have confirmed their power over you. But when you are truly still, when you have done the inner work of understanding your own triggers, your own wounds, your own patterns, you look at that hook and you simply do not bite. Not because you are pretending, not because you are suppressing your anger, but because you genuinely understand what is happening and you genuinely no longer need to prove anything to anyone. That kind of silence changes the entire dynamic of the interaction, and the toxic person, without even fully understanding why, will feel that something is different. They will feel that their usual weapon no longer works, and most importantly, you will feel something you may have forgotten. You will feel like yourself again. Let us talk about boundaries because this word is used very often but rarely understood at its deepest level. A boundary is not a wall you build to shut the world out. A boundary is a line that exists because you know your own value. You know what nourishes you and you know what drains you, and you have made a conscious, deliberate decision about what you will and will not allow into your life. A boundary without self-knowledge is just a reaction. But a boundary that comes from deep self-awareness, from having sat with yourself and truly understood who you are and what you stand for, that is something entirely different. That is a decision made from power, not from fear. And here is what happens when your boundaries come from that place. People feel it. Even without a single word spoken, people can sense when they are standing in front of someone who truly knows themselves. There is a stillness about such a person, a quiet confidence, an unshakable quality that makes it very clear this person cannot be manipulated, cannot be provoked easily, cannot be made to feel small by someone else's behavior. And toxic people, those who look for weakness, who look for open wounds to press on, they instinctively sense that there is nothing here for them, and they move away. This is not magic. This is not a trick. This is the natural consequence of doing the inner work. Now, I want to address something important for those of you who are suffering right now. Those of you who are in a situation with a toxic person and you feel trapped, whether it is a family member, a colleague, a partner, a friend, and you feel like you cannot simply walk away. You feel like the situation forces you to remain in contact with this person. I hear you, and I want to say something with great care and compassion. Even in those situations, even when the external circumstances cannot change immediately, your internal world can change right now, today, this moment. You can begin the practice of self-observation. You can begin to notice when you are reacting emotionally and pause before that reaction takes over. You can begin to ask yourself, is this my emotion? Or am I simply absorbing someone else's chaos? You can begin to build that inner lake of stillness, one quiet moment at a time. And as you do this, as you slowly, consistently, patiently work on your own inner clarity, something remarkable begins to happen. The toxic person's words begin to lose their weight. The insults begin to fall away before they reach you. The manipulations become transparent. You see through them like glass. And without you doing anything dramatic, without any confrontation, without any grand speeches, the dynamic changes because you have changed. There is an ancient understanding that says a person who cannot be moved internally cannot be defeated externally. And this is the most honest truth I can share with you about protection from toxic people. Your outer circumstances will always reflect your inner state. When your inner world is chaotic, confused, and wounded, you will attract and remain in chaotic situations. But when your inner world becomes calm, clear, and grounded, everything outside begins to reorganize around that new energy. This does not mean life will become perfect. Difficult people will always exist in the world. Pain will always be possible, but you will no longer be available for it in the same way. You will have developed something that cannot be taken from you, an inner foundation so solid, so deeply rooted, that no storm on the outside can shake what is standing on the inside. I want to leave you with this final understanding because it is perhaps the most important thing of all. The practice of facing yourself is not a one-time event. It is a daily commitment. Every single morning, before you interact with the world, before you pick up your phone, before the noise begins, take a moment to sit with yourself, check in with your own inner state. Notice if there is unrest. Notice if there is fear. Notice if there is anger or sadness that has not been acknowledged. Give these things your attention before the world demands your attention. Because when you know what is living inside you, nothing on the outside can use it against you. Do this once, truly, completely, with full honesty, and you will understand what I mean. You will understand that the freedom you were searching for was never outside of you. It was always here. It was always waiting. It was always yours. The entire message of this speech comes down to one profound and unchangeable truth. Toxic people do not create your suffering. They reveal it. They find the places inside you that are still unresolved, still reactive, still fearful, still seeking approval, and they press on those places. And as long as those places exist unexamined, the suffering will continue no matter how many people you block, avoid, or walk away from. But when you choose, truly choose, to turn inward, to face yourself with complete honesty, to understand your triggers, to heal your wounds, to master your reactions, and to build your inner world into something unshakable, everything changes, not because toxic people will disappear from the world, but because you will no longer be a place where their toxicity can take root. The work is not easy, but it is simple. And it begins with one decision, the decision to stop waiting for the world to change and to start changing yourself from the inside. That one decision, made completely and followed through with daily practice, is the thing that will protect you not just from toxic people, but from every form of disturbance life can bring. Your peace is not something you find. It is something you build, brick by brick, silence by silence, choice by choice. And once it is built, truly built, no one can ever take it from you.